What's going on, everyone? It's Marco Hanna, and if you follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, or right here on the PhoneDog YouTube channel, you should know that I've been using the Nexus 6 as my daily driver in my Nexus 6 challenge. Well, this video is adding on to my Nexus 6 challenge, basically just titled, Is the Camera Any Good? To kind of dive into this, we have to kind of go backwards and look back at the Moto X for 2014. That basically had a 13 megapixel camera that took pretty average photos and decent 4K video, and then you fast forward just a couple months to the Nexus 6, which is basically a Moto X just made bigger with OIS added to the camera. It's the same camera module, basically the same resolution, same hardware, same megapixel count, almost the same sensor. Again, that OIS is the only differentiator between that Nexus 6 and also the Moto X. And I have to be honest, when I first got the Nexus 6, I was very disappointed by the quality of that 13 megapixel camera because it was exactly the same as the Moto X. And quite frankly, it should have been different. It should have been better because it's a more expensive phone, it has OIS, and, well, they should have made it a better camera. But the strange thing is, as I was using the phone as a daily driver, I was taking more photos, going on more trips, it really kind of dawned at me at CES 2015 where I took more photos because obviously I was at CES in Las Vegas, so there's more things to take photos of, that I actually had a pretty decent camera. Now, obviously, photos outside in a lot of sunlight, a lot of nature light always look good no matter what camera, or maybe I shouldn't say no matter what camera. If it was like a little tiny 0.1 megapixel camera, probably still look pretty terrible, but outside of a 13 megapixel camera, the photos look pretty nice, actually. The dynamic range on the Nexus 6 is still not very good compared to things like the Note 4 or the iPhone 6. It's not really stacking on par with all those other phones, so again, just not the best camera, but it's definitely a little bit better than what I expected. Now, low light shots always define how good a camera is, and phones like the Galaxy Note 4 and the iPhone 6 do low light rather well. The iPhone 6 probably does it a little bit better than the Galaxy Note 4, and that's because the software processing on the Galaxy Note 4 side, but usually phones don't do so well in low light because their sensors are so small and they just don't do very well. That's why we have full frame DSLRs, because they do phenomenally well in very low light situations because you can bump up that ISO and not have that much grain in your image. Previously, before my trip to CES, I had some pretty bad low light shots. A lot of grain, a lot of not very many details in the photos. It just looked really bad. Now, while at CES, I did take some more or better low light shots. For example, I took a photo of some sushi we had at CES 2015, and it came out rather well. It actually looked really good, had really good exposure. The grain was still there, but just not very bad. I mean, it was still a usable image, and it came out to be a very good-looking photo. Now, 4K video, I really didn't mess around with it too much because, well, I've seen 4K video off the Moto X, and it looked okay, and I've seen 4K video off the Nexus 6. We actually posted a sample clip here at PhoneDog's YouTube channel, and again, the quality was fine. OIS didn't really play a major role in making that video look good or bad. You can tell it's there. It's a little robotic in terms of the movements, very similar to the Galaxy Note 4 and especially the iPhone 6 Plus. But honestly, I just didn't see a need to really talk about 4K video because it's not the best. That still goes to the Galaxy Note 4 and the S5 because they do 4K in a mobile phone a lot better than anyone else right now. So the Nexus 6 camera as a whole is rather average. It's not tremendously disappointing as I expected it to be, or from really the first couple days I've had the Nexus 6, and it's not mind-blowing in terms of this is a really good step up between the Moto X and the Nexus 6. So honestly, it's an average camera, and again, the price of the phone is not average, it's flagship, so you're expecting the best hardware. Again, flagship means best. Flagship means the best that's available, and quite frankly, the Nexus 6 does not have the best of what's available in terms of the camera department. It has the best hardware and the best software, but just not the best camera. So again, make sure to leave me some comments below. I want to hear what your experiences are with the Nexus 6. If you have one, or a friend's got one, you've played around with the camera, let me know in the comments below. And as always, keep it locked here at PhoneDog.com and YouTube.com/PhoneDog. And as always, my name is Marco Hanna. I'll catch you guys in the next video.